welcome to a toy kind of mood Halloween extravaganza.
Ooh.
We have
Yes.
our special guest today. We got Fabio back. How you doing, Fab?
What's up?
All right,
How's
we
it
got a
going, guys?
special
Going
guest,
on?
Mike. He's in the house, Michael.
Hello.
All right, today we're going to be doing, Halloween edition. We're going to be showing some of our horror figs, and, we might as well go into a little bit of deets. Michael, this is our first time here. Want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm an old man. I'm an artist, hardcore toy collector and gamer and all that pop culture goodness, and super big fan of the show and very stoked to be here.
Awesome. And of course, Fabio, welcome back.
What's up? Good to be here again. Am I the first recurring guest?
You are. You really
Yeah,
are.
That's a big honor. I appreciate it. Thank you both for having me. I'm excited once again to inject my side of the toy world into our horror spooktacular we got going here.
Right? Awesome. And of course, I'm the host with the most, as I'm spotting my good old shirt and hat right out of Beetlejuice. My name's Ron LaCure.
Really good.
So we're going to start off today. We're going to be covering what I call a disgusting mood. Did anybody you guys see the release of the new horrendous face sculpt of Pedro Pascal's Mandalorian Deluxe Target exclusive? What do you think about that, Mike?
I did not realize that Star Wars was doing horror figures. That thing is ugly. That is so ugly. I feel so bad for Pedro. But I'm wondering if they chose that because of that one scene that you see him when they take off the mask and he looks all crunched up. But I'm like,
he's like on the ground.
Yeah, like why'd you do my boy like that?
Right.
It's dirty. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking the helmet off, so I don't care. I bought it anyways.
Right. You only have to display him with that head if he's around droids in your collection, never around any other human characters.
Definitely not.
Exactly.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Fabio?
I'm not a Star Wars collector, but I follow it peripherally, through my roommate who collects it and just kind of seeing the reveals. And like, this just ain't it, Chief. Like, this is not the Mandalorian. It's great because everything except the head you get in that package is really good. You get, the Beskar armor with the Rhino insignia, and you get the child with the hover thing, the hover carriage, but then you get to that head and it's like, oh, I think I'm all right.
Yeah, it's by far the worst sculpt I think I've seen in the past 2 years for Hasbro Star Wars fig. The set itself, deluxe set, it comes with everything we kind of wanted. It comes with a stand, comes with the Baby Yoda, as everybody's calling it, the child. It also has the credit, like silver, platinum, the Beskar medal. But that sculpt, man, I mean, when I seen it, first thing I thought was, is this the COVID, put on 30 pounds alcoholic exclusive? Because my God, he looks bloated. The only thing I can think of is they didn't have a facial scan of him before they decided to do this, and they only did it 2 months ago, where he's been held up in quarantine, eating nothing but takeout and hose and a 6-pack of old duels a day or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
right. He's looking like John Schnatter after he was let go from Papa John's. He looked 30 pizzas in the span of a month.
Yep. He looked like Jim Belushi in the bad years.
Right. What's even more horrifying is the high-res render of it, where
oh my God,
face sculpt from the figure, but just put through a really high-res filter, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it looks almost melted. It looks as it has like a sagging pumpkin.
It really does.
That rotted pumpkin on a porch look.
It's the opposite problem that Star Wars Black Series had a few years ago, where like before it was like, oh, the sculpts are great, but the paint is awful. And now they got this digital face printing and it's great. It'll make it look just like it, but the sculpt on this is just not good.
It reminds me of the Benicio del Toro character from that toy. That face is so bad for such a recognizable actor. It's so bad. And this one reminded me of that. I'm like, you're able to do such good things now. Why does this look like that? It should not look like that. It's so wrong.
Not in our lifetime. Look how they massacred our boy.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll have to see how that pans out. I mean, it is an exclusive. I'm sure it's selling out and it's good. It's already, you've already seen it flipped on the eBays for ridiculous prices. So I guess it's
really?
In a COVID world.
Yeah. I mean, lots are going to get it regardless. Whether people are going to buy it after that, we'll see.
Right. So, talking about butchering, since they butchered that fig, we're going to go into our slasher film kind of mood today.
Ooh,
We're
nice.
going to be discussing the Mezco Deluxe Leatherface 3-in-1. This is Fabio's forte. So let's start off with you. What do you think about that?
Listen, we're going to get into the show and tell portion, but as you can see in my background here, Mezco has given us throughout the years, of the short span of the line, they've already given us some of the biggest horror icons. We got Michael Myers, we got Freddy Krueger, and we got Jason Voorhees. And then, of course, some more modern ones like Pennywise, and then Ash over here on the side off camera. But we've been waiting for this Leatherface for so long, and they didn't just do, a Leatherface. They did the Leatherface. Like, you would have to buy, and this is par for the course with a lot of Mezco figures, is you would have to buy, like, 2 to 3 NECA figures to get all the different versions that one Mezco can give you all in one. And this Leatherface is like the most accurate example of that. You get all 3 masks that he wore in the movie. You get the regular mask, you get the pretty woman, and you get the old lady. So you get to have him in the dinner jacket as well. So you can put the pretty woman mask on him and have him in like that final chainsaw swinging scene. You can have him in the dinner scene with the new, cooking apron and then the old woman mask. You get a bucket of blood. You get a hatchet, the bone knife. You get a mallet. And what's craziest of all, you get a chainsaw with actual revving noises, completely unnecessary, but it's so cool. It adds to the whole package of it, and of course, blood effects to go on that chainsaw.
Yep. So, I know, last time we had you on, we were covering the Batman, and I had mentioned, will we see future figs come out with that amount of detail, that accessories? And apparently we are, because we're seeing, like you said, blood splatter, buckets of blood, extra chainsaw accessories, sounds. I mean, Mezco has really upped their game this year. I mean, my God, they're turning me. I'm a fan now. And I chalked that up to you because the last time, I really didn't dive into Mezco, and me and Trav were talking. I'm like, man, I look at things differently now. I'm like, should I buy, $8 $10 minifigs, or should I just buy one of those?
And that's what I'm here to accomplish for Michael too. If anything, this Leatherface should be your first Mezco figure. Your first Mezco 112.
Awesome. So what do you think about that? Have you checked that out?
I think it looks amazing. I saw the link, I think, when you guys posted it earlier today. And the initial picture was fantastic, but the more I started scrolling and I'm looking at the faces and the accessories and the one shot that they did of him, just standing there. And then I looked at the price. I was like, that's not that bad. That's not that bad at all. That's an incredible amount of detail for that figure. I very well might. But I was, after watching you on your last episode here, Fabio, I was already like, oh, this Mezco is kind of cool. Oh, look at this. Oh, this bodega set. What is this? I don't know what it is, but I kind of want it now.
Right?
You converted 2 people so far, maybe even 3.
Yes. Getting there. Yeah. I'm getting there. One at a time. Actually, I'll work my way through the entire ATKM audience.
Yep. What were you going to say?
Right after seeing the Leatherface, I then saw the ad for the Elvira, for the Living Dead dolls. And I'm kind of looking at both of them right now because I love Elvira. And I'm just like, the prices for the quality are really not bad. And then I look at your background and I was like, it's doable. It's doable.
Right. And that Elvira is really nice too. I don't collect any of the Living Dead dolls or anything. If I had a more goth girlfriend, maybe I would get her into the line. She's just on the edge, more of a pastel goth, not really like spooky goth.
Yeah,
but
I hear you.
But it's definitely a really dope line, and it has a very, very dedicated fan base. And every time there's a Living Dead doll reveal, all the 112 fans are like, "What the heck is this?" No one cares. And then every time there's a 112 reveal, all the Living Dead people are like, "What is this? Who wants to pose their figures?"
Yeah. So, each like specialty line has its own fans, whether it's the same manufacturer or not. You have the old movie horror werewolves, Frankenstein movie select figures that those people are strictly love those, and you got the people that like the current movie film, monsters or classics, or everybody has that fan base. But I feel like Mezco covers such a wide variety of franchises.
Yeah, they're even getting me out of like certain comfort zones that I'm in. Like, I love my highly articulated, posable figures, but they threw up that glow in the dark 5 points Frankenstein off their new like Mezco's Monsters line, which is kind of their own in-house redesigns of these classic characters. And I'm kind of a sucker for glow in the dark stuff, and I already have the 112 Frankenstein. So a Frankenstein's monster. So I should, you know, maybe just display it side by side like I do with my Space Ghost and my Gomez. So it's that little rabbit hole that you start falling down into. And this is only the first of that line. They're gonna have a full Mezco's Monsters 5 points line. So
yeah,
I got one. We'll see now.
Oh, man.
Do you have any Mezco, Michael, or is this like your first intro too? Have you ever really been interested in the line at all?
I've always been interested in all of these things, but I try to up until the recent couple years, I used to just pick and choose any random toy that just fit my niche. So I'd end up with, you know, the what do you call it, Alice and things of that nature. And I think that was Mezco, was it? The Alice Returns, or was that NECA?
I think so. I know the Hellboy and Liz that you have are Mezco.
Mezco. Those are like, so back then, before they were, I think I noticed that they were doing all this other stuff. I picked and choose, but I wasn't really paying attention to brands at the time as much as, oh, that character looks cool.
Definitely.
So I acquired some, but
around that era, you know, if I'm dating it correctly, you know, like that mid 2000s, you know, early 2010s, it was a lot, like it was really Mezco, NECA kind of dominating the horror market. You know, NECA has been doing like the cult classics line, and then more specialized like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street stuff. You know, they've had this license forever. It's more recently now that they're starting to do like the ultimates, but they've always had like, you know, basically action figure lines of these brands for so long. And Mezco is right up with them with Cinema of Fear, which same thing, kind of like, you know, minimally articulated statuesque action figures, but with some really cool licenses. Mezco has always been a little more stylized than what NECA was doing, but they've been around the horror block forever. So it's really in this last few years that, you know, with the 112 line, that they've been able to revisit these characters as good as they could ever do them. Yeah,
I think I found them at a Hot Topic most likely too.
Right.
During that time
Spencer's
period.
Gifts.
Spencer's.
Yeah, you can find them in the weirdest places when they first started coming out. I mean, they were
Suncoast Video.
Now.
You guys remember Suncoast Video? They had all kinds of stuff.
Yes. Media Play.
Sam Goodies.
Sam Goodies.
Yeah.
Search
So all,
Cities,
you know,
all that.
This is where like these lines started to find their little niche audience.
Yep. And Hot Topic is very known for, you know, horror things, you know, and I mean that's going to roll us right into our you know, our next topic, which is our horrifying mood. This is a you know, our favorite horror figs. This is the cream of the crop of the show right here, folks. This is what we're all about. We're going into a Halloween special. We're going to be show and telling what out of our collection, what of our favorite horror figs. You know, if you know, we're going to share our stories with it. So let's start off with we're going to talk about Jason Voorhees. We're going to start off with Michael. Let's see what you got. What do you got?
Well, when I was at Baltimore Comic-Con 2 years ago, because my wife was doing she was tabling out there, and I was, you know, searching around, and I got a really good deal on my Friday the 13th final chapter. I always wanted a Jason figure, and I had a McFarlane Jason X1, but I don't know what happened to it. So I snatched this one for taking photos, and I have used this for so many pictures because he is such an awesome little figure. And it's not even my favorite movie at all. I'm much more the Kane Hodder fan. But I had to have it. So this would be probably my favorite horror movie based one. Although Freddy's what I want. I just haven't gotten one yet.
Yeah, do me a favor. Show me that Jason. Bring it right up to the camera. Let me take a look at that.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh,
so this is Jason. He's got the removable mask. You get that beautiful.
Oh, that's sweet.
You know, that beautiful Pedro Pascal face.
Got him.
And it came with a lot of awesome stuff. The box was fantastic. I love the art and such on it, and minus the glare, but the extra faces. And that's what I always loved about these guys, NECA in particular, for what I had been buying, was all the extra accessories you'd get that'd be movie based. I love Jason, so I'm looking forward to maybe getting some more, but they'll have to be NECA because they're the only ones that I like.
Nice. And Fabio, what do you got going for Jason?
Man, if I could touch on that NECA Jason is really awesome, because like I said, when NECA did their single you know, Friday the 13th line, they did like 2 or 3 versions of the Part 4 Jason, whereas this Ultimate gives you one version all at once for what, $25 at retail, which is just awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's awesome.
So what I got over here is I actually have, of course, the Mezco Part 3 Jason, which, you know, is very similar actually to the Part 4 one in terms of his deco, like the look of Jason, you know, the green shirt and the gray pants. But of course, this was the first movie that had Jason featuring the hockey mask.
Yeah.
So, and same thing, you can remove the mask on this one, and you got a nice Jason head sculpt, a little less, you know, gross and zombie-esque than what we would get in Part 4, but still great. And you know, with Mezco, of course, this is all cloth goods and everything, so the shirt is completely posable around, and he comes with a ton of accessories as well. I have him with the machete right now, but the way I actually display him is to get into some more Friday the 13th and Jason stuff, and this is definitely something you should be on the lookout for, Michael, is they do the accessory sets as well. So they do a Friday the 13th accessory set that comes with this dock. It comes with the Crystal Lake sign that you can see back here. When I was in the process of like transitioning from one collection to another, there was a few pieces that I had kept, and these accessory sets are definitely worth keeping. In my opinion, they scale a little bit better with 6-inch figures than 7-inch.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like a give and take that you're gonna have to make yourself. But one of those things was also the campfire, which
that's
you get
awesome.
from, I believe, the Part 2 Jason.
That's awesome.
Which is where he has like the sack head. So, you know, you get like a nice little bonfire set, and he comes with the severed mother's head. NECA definitely gives you like a lot more versions of Jason throughout all the movies. I, however, am cool with just the single, like, iconic first look of Jason with the hockey mask in Part 3, and the code does it for me.
I love that mask.
I see your eyes twinkling, Mike. I see it.
Oh, they are, man. And I love the diorama stuff, man. I love all those types of accessories. Oh, that's so good.
And to share a fond memory, if we're getting into that too, Ronnie, is watching the Friday the 13th franchise was how I discovered that I needed glasses. Because I was watching it, I was posted up in front of the television for like a whole day. Like we went to Blockbuster when I was a kid. I think I was in like 4th grade. And we were watching all the movies. We rented them all, and we were just getting through them. Jason X had just come out, and I'm like, well, obviously I got to watch the first 9. And throughout the course of me watching these movies, my parents noticed that I was moving closer and closer to the television to see it, and they're like, I think you need glasses.
Oh no!
You're sitting 2 inches from the screen, right?
Right. Eventually, I mean, I think I was just as much of a zombie as Jason X by that point. Just phased out in front of the TVs.
Awesome. Well, going into like movie greats, I don't really collect too many old school horror figs. I mean, my line is very streamlined. I spend a lot of money on Star Wars stuff, but when I like Michael, when I see something that is either memorable or brings back memories, or something that just looks overall cool, I'll jump on it. And I'm a glutton for exclusives, like everybody else. And I happened to find this one in the after sale market because when they had the NECACon this summer, I think it was, maybe even in spring, everything sold out within seconds. And I was on the F5 trying to wait. I was in line for waiting in the morning. And luckily I only paid $10 over list price on eBay. I won an auction and I got it, which is my Predator 2 Ultimate Demon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know if the battery's still alive or if it's dead. We're going to see when you open it up. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see it flashing. There you go. Has the lightning effects to it. I mean, that's a cool little collector's edition,
Definitely.
Again, I keep them in the box for now. Once I get a bigger house and I get my man cave situated, I'll have them on display and stuff. We'll get into like I'll bring it right in. You can see a little bit. Let me see.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's that translucent with, the paint deco on top of it.
The skull has his disc weapon. I mean, overall quality of the NECA Predator line is really, really, really high end in my eyes. I mean, again, going back to when I was a kid, I was probably like 11 or 12 when they started the Alien AVP or Alien versus Predator toy figure line.
Yeah.
Even at 11 years old, I was collecting, and I was keeping them in the box. I had them all on top of my bookshelves. It never opened in the packages, and I did just look so cool. And back then, they weren't posable; they were just hard figs, with the shoulder joints, and I think they had the shoulder and hip. That was it. You couldn't really move the legs or anything. Everything was solid cast.
But you got those crazy designs with them too. You got like the Lava Planet Predator and the Hive Wars. Like, I love that, and that was what actually got me really into the Predator line. Because originally, when I first got into NECA, it was through the Predator line. I found Dutch and the first Predator from the first movie at Universal Studios. I was just there, and that got me into a huge rabbit hole. But once they started doing the Kenner tributes, which was just recreating those 90s figures, I was like, all right, well, I'm getting all the Predators now.
Right. Yeah, they're a great line to catch. So moving along into the next figures that you guys collect would be the Michael Myers. Another, I guess you would say the first figure you showed was Jason, and now we're going into Michael. The theme, I guess, right now would be mother issues for our figs.
Yeah.
Fabio, show us what you got.
Dude, I do have the this one became very difficult to find not long after it came out, but the Mezco Michael Myers from Halloween 1.
Oh, yeah.
This was a big deal when it came out because for years NECA had been trying. People were asking NECA to get the Halloween 1 license, and it was just all these issues coming up. It was too expensive for them to possibly pull it off. And somehow in the middle of all that, Mezco did it, and they put out this one, and it's awesome. Very simple. It's not nearly as deluxe of a figure as you got with like the Batman or the Leatherface that we showed off earlier in the line. It was $80, $85. I happened to find this at Los Angeles Comic-Con. Nice. I was just there to actually buy one of the exclusives that they had, which was the black and gold Iron Man. And then they just happened to have some of these in stock, and it was difficult to find at that point. And I got it for retail from the Mezco booth. So that was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I didn't actually grow up watching these Halloween movies. It was the Rob Zombie Halloween movie that made me backtrack and watch the rest of the franchise.
Nice.
I believe that first Rob Zombie movie holds up really, really well. The second one we don't talk about. But of course, the first two John Carpenter films are the best, and the new reboot remake was I thought solid.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. A lot of the remakes. I mean, I grew up watching the originals, and a lot of the remakes were kind of campy. Well, I mean, just for me, again, growing up with the originals, the Jason X era of these remakes, it was very slasher film, less suspense. I mean, the old ones were slasher films, but you wouldn't see Jason, or Mike, Mike Myers. You would hear the breathing, or you'd see the silhouette until the actual strike, and then he'd be all in his glory, taking heads, poles through tents, and banging teams, and it was great. What do you got, Mike? What are you going to show us today for your fig?
Today we have, which is a recent pickup actually, because I love this movie and it's a new Halloween classic, and that would be my little Sam, which I believe is also NECA. I think this was
it looks like it's the retro line. Yeah,
it was in a clamshell, like plastic type of packaging. It's got his little sack. His the soft goods on it is a little dirty and such too, which I thought was kind of cool. A little bit more dirty than most of my Star Wars figures. And I only realized last night that that his head came off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I had no idea, and then I was just like, I gotta tie this thing back on his neck, and nope, I didn't have to. And it was also neat is I guess it has a bunch of some fabric inside to make sure it stays all plumped out, so it's that big circle. So
that's awesome.
Very cool little toy.
Yeah. How long have you had it?
I think we got it maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So more recent pickup. Try to get like one thing for Halloween season, a year, and this was the new one for this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can't sleep on that NECA retro line. Like they really hit a lot of properties that they otherwise couldn't do in like fully sculpted figures. And they do have an Ultimate Sam, but like I don't know, something about his costume design works so well in that cloth
it really
format.
Yeah, and he's got good articulation, and I'm really impressed with the head. I wasn't happy when they were showing his face in the movie. I just wanted it to be the cool little sack dude, but the toy looks really cool.
Yeah, it looked like it had a lot of detail in the sculpting of the face and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's like NECA's reinterpretation of the old school Mego line. So it's that same kind of 8-inch scale, even though that's a smaller figure. But it's a lot more realistic, and the body sculpts underneath those bucks are actually getting a lot more articulated. So I think the newest Michael Myers from Halloween 2, I saw a review, has an ab crunch. It has full ankle pivots and everything. It's probably the most attainable, best Michael Myers out there right now is that retro NECA one.
Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna continue on the NECA line of my show, Predator 2. It is a classic. that we have. I grew up watching Predator 1 with Arnold and Predator 2, with Danny Glover. I just showed this, so I'm going to show the other one. So here's the Predator 1.
I was going to say, is this
I was
joke?
like, wait a minute, I grabbed the wrong box. So this one's my Predator 1. I got this one at, that I think I mentioned it in one of our previous episodes, Toy Vault, which is a local toy company, family-owned franchise store. Again, this one goes into the green jungle. It is like the jungle look one.
Nice.
It is pretty awesome. It has the multiple heads. There we go. The multiple heads. It has the helmet, and then like the removable helmet. Then you have the screaming green where, his mandibles are out. And, of course, you have the standard helmet here. He has the shoulder gauntlets, all the usual accessories. The cool thing about this, though, is with his green, he actually glows in the dark a little bit when you put him in the light and at night. So the outline where if I can get the glare off, there we go. Right around like this head here will glow around the mandibles, around the top of the head here.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's dope.
The funny thing is they don't really promote it as a glow-in-the-dark fig because it's subtle. But how I found that out was I was actually I had it near on one of my bookshelves on the top and where I have my ceiling fan. And the light was on and I shut it off and I go walk out of the room and I look back and I see something glowing. I'm like, it's through I see it because the box was closed. So I opened it up. I'm like, oh shit, just this side was glowing because of where the box was partially open. So I left it open, turned the light on for about an hour, went back, and lo and behold, it actually was glowing around the rim, around the edges of the fig. I was like, they didn't publicize it. So it isn't even on the box. I look, it doesn't say glow in the dark, but it's pretty cool. It's just one of those little added accessories, and growing up as a Predator fan as a kid, I was probably 15, 16 when I watched Predator 2. You can't beat the new NECA figs.
Yeah, NECA that is their number one line is Predator. That is their number one selling, longest running line of all. And so they find all kinds of cool ways to really jazz up each individual Predator. And that one's based on a Dark Horse comic too. So it's this low key Predator that hardly anyone's ever heard of, but they find a way to pull it off and make it appealing enough. And on the subject actually of glow in the dark figures, there was recent news that, NECA does this Toonie Terrors line, very stylized horror figures. They have the Nun from The Conjuring out there. And they just randomly announced, there's a glow in the dark Chase variant. So everybody put your Nun figure up to a black light because you might have it.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you don't even know until shit's out, and that's pretty cool.
Exactly.
That's a cool way to do things, I think.
Right. So we're going to go into our next horror fig movie line. Michael, you have something really cool and pretty grotesque to show us.
I do. This is another favorite movie that I grew up watching, and that would be Pumpkinhead. And this one was a McFarlane, if I remember correctly, back when he was doing his horror movie icon line. And he's not the most posable. You just got to kind of statuesquely sit him however you want. But he looks really cool. And as long as he's not falling over, knocking over candles, I'm good. The tail, and that's pretty much what I use to make sure he doesn't fall over. But I love this thing. He comes out every Halloween, and who am I kidding? He's out all year.
That's a cult classic right there, and that fig looks
I love this movie.
Definitely.
Lance Henriksen, man. I love that so much.
Now I know you said, Michael, that your I guess your dream fig would be a Freddy fig, but I think he's gonna have to break your heart a little and show that my buddy Fabio he has one. Why don't you show that?
Right. Yeah, that Pumpkinhead though, that's McFarlane Movie Maniacs. That is the precursor to every horror movie line out there right now. NECA cult classics, Mezco, Cinema of Fear, all that stuff. There wouldn't be any of that without that figure right there. And we do need that character redone somehow because that's probably the only one out there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I do love me, something that might haunt your nightmares, and that's my friend Freddy Kruger, who I think was my first favorite horror icon character because I just loved kind of the campiness of him. Obviously Robert Englund is a ham sandwich, so he knows how to play this part.
Oh, that's so nice.
And this is based on the first movie by Mezco. So of course he's got the solid red sleeves instead of the striped ones that you would see in the future films. But this is still holds up as probably one of the better Freddy figures just because it's the most articulated. A lot of the NECA stuff, while more articulated than the stuff they had out there when it was just even the Ultimates, they're still more articulated than the stuff that came before. But it still doesn't reach the level that this does with double jointed elbows and all that. I do, however, still have their. Oh, my Jason just fell.
He's coming. Look out.
It happens. I do still have the Freddy Furnace though from NECA. This
That's
was
awesome.
a set that they did a few years ago and then re-released, after that. And this holds up. I think this was like $25, or something. And it's just a single furnace set, but it has a little light in there and a little candle. It lights up. It's pretty dim now, but this again is something worth holding on to. And NECA also did a straight up Freddy accessory set. It has like the big Freddy worm and the TV with the hands coming out of it and the Freddy head on top. So NECA like has just killed the entire Freddy line in terms of every accessory, every look that he's had throughout the films, and they've done multiple ultimates of him. So whatever is your favorite, there'll be a version out there for him. My favorite movie has to be the third one, Dream Warriors, because of that Stick Dawkins soundtrack, of course.
Yes.
That's freaking awesome. Yeah. I actually met the actor at one of the Rhode Island Comic Cons a few years ago. Super humble guy. I mean, he was walking through the aisles, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I was like, excuse, I'm one of those, I don't like to bother actors or celebrities. I'll pay to go to the booth, but I don't like to, hey, be a fanboy out in the streets. But he caught me go, hey, like out of reflex, and he stopped and talked to me and my buddy and shook our hands and said, awesome. have a nice day kind of thing. It was pretty cool, seeing people like that are horror icons. Everybody knows who Freddy is. We all had nightmares at one time or another that were these horror figs, horror characters in these movies. And to see somebody that's pretty humble is pretty awesome. So going into like Rhode Island Comic Con, I'm gonna show my last fig I got. Mine is a Pennywise It Funko Pop. Rhode Island Comic Con exclusive. Let's see. It's like their black and white variant.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It was a Rhode Island Comic Con Toy Vault collaboration, and limited, and all that. You can find them on eBay. People were flipping them for stupid amount of money. I kept mine because they look really cool. Even the back of the sides of the box and the back of the box, it has the logos on it for exclusive. But I mean. I watched it.
Curry Pennywise, of course. Great.
Exactly, Pennywise. Yeah, I watched it as a kid, and it horrified me. And exactly, hate spiders, and that scene in that movie. Forget about it.
I never saw it as a kid, but the cover at the video store just freaked me out every time.
Watching it as an adult, Tim Curry, he's freaking. It's more of like a comedy as an adult. You will look at it, the shit between it. As an 8-year-old kid, forget about it. I watched it on HBO in my mother's room when it went, had the cable channel there, and I was never again.
My mom told me about it because she had the book, and the original cover to the hardcover just had the grate in the sewer. And all growing up, I skipped over those sewer grates in Springfield because I didn't even know why I was scared. And then the movie came out. Pennywise, Tim Curry ruined me.
So I mean, we're this is the wrap up of our show. We've done a really good thing. Any afterthoughts about the figs or whatever? We got, what do you think, Fab? Any wrap up? So if you want to, let us know where people can find you and.
Yeah, just to plug my stuff. Of course, everyone watching here on YouTube can also follow me on YouTube. It's just Fabster, FABSTER, and I got all kinds of Mezco related coverage on there, whether it's Comic-Con stuff or new releases, reviews of exclusive stuff. I got it all if it's Mezco related on my channel. I did just drop a new video where it's me trying to buy the new Mezco exclusive, and you can witness me just in immense frustration for 10 minutes trying to buy this thing, and it's a fun video. I'm getting a good response.
Target chaos exclusive bull crap we all go through.
That's right. So yeah, follow me on YouTube at Fobster, and then on Instagram at Fobster360.
Awesome, Mike. Where can we find you? You want to share?
You can find me on Instagram. My toy photography gamer page is the Sleepless Gamer. _sleepless_gamer. Or my artist page is Valade cartoonist. VALADE.
Awesome. So this is wrap it up. You want to find me on Twitter? I'm Ron Bertles 58. Otherwise, Toy Kind of Mood. You can check us out on YouTube. Thanks for you guys for showing today, and it was a hell of a show. We appreciate it. Happy Halloween.
Awesome. Happy Halloween.
Thanks for having us, Ron.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.